My girlfriend called me not boyfriend material, so I shipped all her stuff to her ex's house. Hey Reddit. So I've been with Olivia for about 2 years. We moved in together last summer to my apartment. I'm an IT operations specialist, pretty quiet guy, and I guess what you'd call organized to a fault. I keep receipts for everything, document important stuff, that kind of thing. Olivia always said it was cute, but also a little much. For the past few months, things have been weird. She's been having these monthly closure dinners with her ex Noah. Same excuse every time, they need to properly close the chapter on their relationship. I'll be honest, it never sat right with me. How many times can you close the same chapter? We'd had a few arguments about it, not screaming matches, but those tense conversations where she'd get defensive, and I'd end up feeling like the unreasonable one for even bringing it up. She always made me feel like I was being controlling just for asking basic questions about why she needed to keep having intimate dinners with her ex. But it was always the same pattern. She'd come back from these dinners acting distant and picking fights about random stuff, like she was angry at me for something but could never say what. Tuesday night was the breaking point. I was on the couch, TV on but not really watching, just unwinding after a long day debugging server issues. She walked in around 9 p.m. and I asked, "How was dinner with Noah?" Not even accusatory, just tired. We'd been down this road before. She stopped dead in her tracks, gave me this look like I just crossed a line we'd drawn months ago, and said with this bitter laugh, "Seriously, we're doing this again. What, are you jealous? That's your problem, Hayden. You're just not boyfriend material." I sat there for a second. Not boyfriend material. After 2 years, after letting her move into my place, after all the small ways I tried to show I cared. The words just hung there in the air. I didn't argue. I didn't beg her to explain what she meant. I just nodded and said, "Okay." She seemed surprised I didn't fight back. She stood there for another minute like she was waiting for me to say something, then went to the bedroom. I heard her on the phone later, probably talking to her mom Denise, but I couldn't make out the words. Wednesday morning she left early for work without saying goodbye. That's when something in me just clicked. I called in sick, drove to Home Depot and bought 12 moving boxes, heavy-duty ones, came back and started packing. Everything that was hers, clothes, books, her jewelry, even her special lavender candles that made the whole place smell like a spa. Took me about 6 hours to pack it all up properly. Here's where my documentation obsession came in handy. I remembered Noah's address from a Christmas card Olivia had shown me months ago. I called FedEx and arranged same-day delivery for all 12 boxes. Cost me $229, but honestly, worth every penny for the peace of mind. The boxes were picked up around 2 p.m. I cleaned up, ordered pizza, and tried to relax. Around 4:30 p.m. my phone rang. It was Olivia. She sounded confused. "Hayden, I just got the weirdest call from Noah. He said there were 12 boxes with my name on them at his house. What's going on?" I said. "You told me I'm not boyfriend material. I figured you'd want your stuff at a place where you feel more comfortable." There was dead silence for about 10 seconds. Then, "Are you freaking kidding me right now? You shipped all my belongings to my ex's house. Your stuff is safe and properly packed. Noah can confirm that." She hung up. She came home around 6 p.m. and we had the confrontation I'd been dreading. She was furious, pacing around the empty apartment, demanding to know what gave me the right to decide where her belongings went. I stayed calm and just kept saying that since I wasn't boyfriend material, I assumed she'd want her things somewhere she felt more appreciated. The argument lasted about an hour. She tried every angle: guilt, anger, disbelief, even tears, but I'd already made my decision. When she realized I wasn't going to cave, she screamed, "Fine, we're done then," grabbed her car key and left. I got the best night's sleep I'd had in weeks. Thursday morning my phone was blowing up. Not just Olivia, her mom Denise was calling too. That's when things got really interesting. Denise called at 7 a.m. sharp and immediately started yelling about how I threw her daughter out on the street, and that Olivia had tenant rights and couldn't be evicted without notice. She was throwing around legal terms like she was a lawyer, demanding I let Olivia back in. Here's where being an organized IT guy paid off. When Olivia first started staying over regularly last summer, I'd actually gotten written approval from my landlord, Mr. Whitfield, to have a long-term guest. Standard procedure, I'd filled out the paperwork, paid the additional deposit, the whole 9 yards. But the approval was specifically tied to our relationship status. Olivia had never paid rent directly. She'd just Venmo me money sometimes, but never consistently and never a set amount. More like contributing to groceries or utilities when she remembered. She was never on the actual lease. I very calmly explained this to Denise, then told her since Olivia had made it clear that us being in a relationship wasn't the case anymore, I was notifying management via email that the guest arrangement was ending. Denise went quiet for about 10 seconds, then hung up. An hour later, I got this email back from Mr. Whitfield. "Thank you for the update. I've noted the change in occupancy for Unit 3C. Let me know if you need anything else." The shipping confirmation came through Thursday afternoon. All 12 boxes delivered to Noah's address at 2:47 p.m. I've been getting nasty texts from Olivia all day Thursday and Friday, but honestly, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. The apartment feels like mine again. Part of me do feel like maybe I should have given her more warning, but another part of me thinks that ship sailed when she decided I wasn't boyfriend material while living in my apartment rent-free. Edit. This blew up more than I expected. People are asking if she tried to come back. Yes, she showed up Friday evening, but I'd already changed the smart lock code. She banged on the door for about 20 minutes, then left. Someone asked about our friend group. Yeah, this is probably going to get messy. We have mutual friends who don't know the full story yet. I'm not planning to blast our business to everyone, but if people ask directly, I'm not going to lie about what happened either. Update 1. Posted 3 days later, so after my last post, I thought things would quiet down. Olivia would get her stuff from Noah's place. We'd both move on. Maybe there'd be some awkwardness in our friend group, but nothing major. I was so naive. Friday night, our mutual friends Lucas and Jenna texted me asking if I was okay because Olivia had been telling people what happened. I asked what she was saying, and Jenna said Olivia had created a new group chat without me called Support Circle and was telling her version of events there. Jenna sent me screenshots and I couldn't believe what I was reading. Olivia's version of events was creative. According to her, I had a screaming meltdown, accused her of cheating, and threw all her stuff in trash bags. She claimed I burned sentimental items and destroyed things that belonged to her grandmother. I stared at these messages for a good 5 minutes. It was like reading about a completely different breakup. The only thing she got right was that her stuff got moved out. Lucas knows me pretty well. We've been friends since college. He texted privately, "Dude, this doesn't sound like you at all. What actually happened?" I sent him 3 things. A photo of the FedEx receipt showing professional packing and shipping to Noah's address. A screenshot of Olivia's, not boyfriend material, text that she'd sent me Wednesday night. She'd texted it again after saying it in person, like she wanted to make sure it really stung. And this is where my documentation habits really came in handy. A screenshot from last month where she'd lied about her location. See, last month she'd told me she was going to have a girls' night with Jenna, but I later saw Jenna's Instagram story showing her at home sick with her cat that same evening. When I gently asked Olivia about it the next day, she got defensive and snapped that I was being insecure and controlling for tracking her whereabouts. It wasn't until later that I pieced together she'd probably been with Noah that night instead. So I sent Lucas this screenshot of her telling me to stop being so paranoid. These are just friends, right next to her lie about going out with Jenna. The contrast was pretty damning. Jenna was horrified when Lucas showed her the evidence. She immediately left the group chat that Olivia created and texted me privately. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was lying about hanging out with me. That's really messed up." But here's where it gets really interesting. Priya and Matt, another couple in our friend group, have gone completely silent. They're not defending Olivia outright, but they're also not acknowledging that she lied. They're doing this weird thing where they're acting like both sides are equally valid, which honestly feels worse than if they'd just picked her side. Meanwhile, Denise, Olivia's mom, has been calling me nonstop. When I stopped answering, she started leaving voicemails. The first few were angry rants about tenant rights and threatening to call the police. But then Saturday morning, I got this voicemail where her whole tone had changed. Suddenly, she was sweet as pie. "Hayden, honey, I'm so sorry about this misunderstanding. I know you and Olivia both just need some space. But there's one tiny problem. Olivia's grandmother's pearl necklace fell behind your dresser last time she was moving her jewelry around. It's a family heirloom, very sentimental, probably not worth much, but it means the world to us. Could she just pop in for 5 minutes to grab it?" I almost laughed. The woman who was threatening legal action 3 days ago was now calling me honey and asking for favors. Here's the thing, I have a security camera. Just a simple Wise Cam that I installed after my laptop got stolen from the apartment lobby last year. It covers the main living area and bedroom doorway, and it has timestamps on everything. I went through the footage from Wednesday morning when Olivia left. At 8:17 a.m., clear as day, she was walking out wearing a black blouse and, you guessed it, a pearl necklace. She even paused by the mirror near the front door to adjust it. I sent Denise an email with a video clip attached and just wrote, "Good news, the necklace didn't get left behind," and attached a screenshot showing Olivia wearing it as she left. Radio silence from both of them since Saturday afternoon. Complete and total silence. But the really crazy part is how this has affected our whole social circle. Lucas and Jenna have been amazing. They've completely backed away from the drama and made it clear they don't want to hear any more versions of events from anyone. But Priya and Matt are acting like I'm some kind of master manipulator for having documentation of what actually happened. Matt actually said to Lucas that it was weird and controlling, that I had screenshots of text conversations with my girlfriend. Like their text messages, dude, they automatically save. I didn't hire a private investigator, I just looked at our conversation history. I've been sleeping better than I have in months, though. The apartment feels peaceful again. I even rearranged the furniture and got rid of those lavender candles that gave me a headache every night. I'm starting to believe I should have done this months ago. When someone tells you who they are, believe them, right? Edit. Someone in the comments mentioned keeping all my documentation organized in case she tries anything else legally. Good call. I've got everything in a folder now: lease agreement, shipping receipts, video footage, text screenshots. Hopefully it never comes to that, but better safe than sorry. Update 2. Posted 1 week later. Reddit. I can't even believe I'm writing this update. The audacity of some people continues to blow my mind. So after my last post where I showed Denise the video of Olivia leaving with the family heirloom pearl necklace, I thought that would be the end of it. The complete radio silence from both of them seemed like confirmation that they'd been caught and were backing down. I was wrong. Tuesday morning, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was some guy claiming to be a family friend of the Allens, Olivia's last name, and he was asking if I can be reasonable about this necklace situation. He said Denise was beside herself because it was the only thing she had left of Olivia's grandmother, and maybe there was just a misunderstanding about the video. I told him politely that there was no misunderstanding. I had clear footage of Olivia wearing the necklace when she left, and there was nothing more to discuss. He kept pushing, saying things like, "Sometimes these cameras don't show everything." That's when I realized they weren't giving up. They were just trying a different angle. I told him I wasn't interested in discussing it further and hung up. Then I did something I probably should have done earlier. I went back through all my security footage from the past 2 months. You guys, I found so much stuff I hadn't noticed before. Like how Olivia would wait until I left for work, then spend 20 to 30 minutes on phone calls. I couldn't hear what she was saying, but I could see her body language, and she was clearly agitated during these calls. This happened at least 8 times in the past 2 months, always within an hour of me leaving for work. But the real smoking gun was from 2 weeks ago. I'd left early for a work conference in Atlanta, wasn't supposed to be back until Thursday. The footage showed Olivia bringing someone into the apartment Wednesday around 2 p.m. A guy. They were talking in the living room for about 30 minutes, then the camera angle cut off when they went toward the bedroom area. He left around 4 p.m. I have no idea who this guy was, but it definitely wasn't Noah. I've seen enough pictures to know what he looks like. And she never mentioned having anyone over while I was gone. I still remember when I got home that Thursday afternoon, Olivia seemed nervous and jumpy. She kept asking about my conference, whether I'd had a good time, if I'd met anyone interesting. At the time, I thought she was just being conversational. Now I'm wondering what she was really trying to figure out. Wednesday afternoon, Denise called again. This time, she dropped the sweet act entirely. She told me that the family friend reported that I was hostile and threatening during their call, and that she was consulting with legal counsel about my theft of the necklace. I let her talk for about 30 seconds, then I said, "Denise, I'm going to send you something, and after you watch it, I don't want to hear from you or anyone representing you again." I compiled a video file with 2 clips. Olivia wearing the necklace when she left Wednesday morning, yes, I sent it again, and the clip of mystery guy visiting the apartment while I was supposed to be out of town. I sent it with a message. The necklace left with Olivia on Wednesday at 8:17 a.m. as shown. All footage is timestamped and backed up to cloud storage. Any further harassment will be documented and reported. Do not contact me again. Thursday morning, I got a text from an unknown number. "This is Olivia. Mom told me what you sent. You're sick for spying on me and I'm blocking your number." Funny how she had to reach out just to inform she was blocking me. Well, fine by me, I'd already blocked hers days ago. But then Friday, I get this unexpected text from Noah. Remember Noah, the ex-boyfriend who received 12 boxes of Olivia's stuff? "Hey man, I know this is random, but I felt like I needed to reach out to clear something up. I wanted you to know that those closure dinners Olivia kept talking about. I only agreed to meet with her because she kept saying you were being controlling, and she needed someone to talk to. I thought I was being a good friend, but after she showed up here trying to move in and acting like we were getting back together, I realized she'd been playing both of us. I'm really sorry, man. I had no idea she was using our conversations to mess with your head." I just stared at that message for like 10 minutes. This woman had been manipulating both of us, making Noah think he was helping a friend in an abusive relationship while making me feel guilty for having any concerns about their meetings. I texted back, "Thanks for reaching out and explaining. I'm sorry she put you in that position too. No hard feelings at all." He responded, "I feel like such an idiot for not seeing it sooner. The stuff you sent was packed so professionally too. She kept telling people you threw her out with nothing, but everything was wrapped perfectly. You're clearly not the monster she was describing. You've dodged a bullet actually." That actually made me smile. I'd rearranged the bedroom, bought a new comforter, and I've been sleeping through the night for the first time since. God, probably since she moved in last summer. The friend group situation has basically resolved itself. Lucas and Jenna are team reality-based evidence. Priya and Matt have ghosted everyone and started their own smaller group chat without any of us. Honestly, I'm relieved. I'm too old for friend group drama. Edit. A lot of people are asking about the mystery guy in the video. I honestly don't know who he was and I don't really want to know at this point. It doesn't matter for my life going forward. Final update. Posted 6 months later. Hey Reddit, I know it's been a while since my last update about the great 12-box breakup saga, but I got a message yesterday that I thought you'd all appreciate hearing about. First, quick life update. I'm doing great. Like, genuinely great. I ended up getting a promotion at work, moved to a bigger apartment in a better part of town, and I've been dating someone for about 2 months. Her name's Nancy, she's a veterinarian, and she thinks my organization systems are efficient, not obsessive. We'll see where it goes, but it's nice to be with someone who doesn't make me feel like I need to apologize for being myself. The friend group thing settled down too. Lucas and Jenna are still awesome. Priya and Matt eventually reached out and apologized for going radio silent. Turns out they were dealing with their own relationship drama and didn't want to get involved in anyone else's. We're all good now. Olivia just kind of disappeared from our social circle entirely. No one really talks about her anymore. But here's why I'm posting this update. Yesterday, I get a message from Noah out of the blue. "Hey Hayden, hope you're doing well. I know this is random, but I had to share this with someone who would understand. Remember how I said you dodged a bullet? Turns out it was more like a nuclear missile. Olivia showed up at my work last week trying to reconnect. When I told her I was seeing someone, she went completely unhinged. She tried to convince my girlfriend that we were secretly dating. Then when that didn't work, she told my boss that I was emotionally abusing her. My boss pulled me aside for a very uncomfortable conversation until I showed him the screenshots of her trying to move in months ago and me asking her to leave. She's been calling my mom, my sister, even my ex-roommate from college trying to get them to intervene in my self-destructive behavior. The woman is absolutely unhinged, and I can't believe I ever dated her." I read that message 3 times. This is 6 months after our breakup, and she's still trying to insert herself into Noah's life. 6 months of her apparently escalating from closure dinners to full-scale harassment. I texted back asking if he needed any of my documentation to back up a report, but he said his work's HR department was handling it, and he'd already filed a police report for harassment. It got me thinking about those last few months we were together, and how I kept telling myself that her behavior was just relationship stress, or maybe she was going through something personal. The mood swings, the picking fights, the constant need to have closure with her ex. I made so many excuses for red flags that were practically neon signs. But what really gets me is imagining what would have happened if I'd handled the breakup differently. What if I'd tried to work things out? What if I'd let her guilt me into staying? What if I'd given her another chance to be less awful? Based on what Noah's dealing with now, I'd probably still be trapped in that relationship, constantly walking on eggshells, probably with her bringing other guys to my apartment and gaslighting me about it. The 12-box solution wasn't just about getting my stuff back or making a point. It was about drawing a clear, undeniable line that said, "This is over, and I'm not participating in whatever game you're trying to play." I saved Noah's number in my phone under Bullet Dodging Buddy and told him to keep me posted if she escalates further and he needs my help to deal with it. Hopefully she'll get some help and move on with her life, but that's not my responsibility anymore. Oh, and I kept that Wise camera in my new apartment. Not because I'm paranoid, but because documentation really is everything. Nancy thinks it's smart. Turns out healthy people don't get defensive when you want to verify things. Life's good, Reddit. Thanks for listening to this whole saga and helping me realize I wasn't crazy. You guys are the best. Edit. People are asking about Nancy. We met through a mutual friend at a board game night. She has a rescue dog named Buster who's basically the most chill golden retriever on earth. She's nothing like Olivia, which is exactly what I needed. For the people saying we should warn Noah's new girlfriend, he said he already showed her everything, and she was just shocked that someone would go that far. Apparently she's been dealing with her own stalker ex, so she totally understood the situation. This will probably be my last update unless something really dramatic happens. Thanks again for all the support and advice over the past 6 months. This community is amazing. My girlfriend dumped me to pursue my best friend. He shut her down in the most brutal way possible. I'm still processing what happened, but honestly, I'm not even mad anymore. Just relieved. Maybe Reddit can help me figure out if I handled this right. So some background first. I've been dating Nadia, 27, female, for about 2 years. She works in marketing, I'm in it. Pretty standard relationship. Dinners, Netflix, the occasional argument about whose turn it is to do dishes. Nothing crazy, just comfortable. My best friend Nico, 29, male, and I have been tight since middle school. He's been working in Toronto for the past 4 years, and we kept in touch through gaming sessions and the occasional visit. Last month, he moved back to the city after landing a senior position at a consulting firm. I was psyched. The two most important people in my life were finally going to meet properly. Here's the thing about Nico, dude's objectively good looking. Like annoyingly so. He's 62, works out religiously, dresses well, and has that effortless charisma some people are just born with. But more importantly, he's loyal as hell. We've been through everything together, and I've never once worried about him crossing any lines. So 2 weeks ago, I arranged for them to meet. We grabbed drinks at this downtown bar. I was excited, talking about old stories, showing Nadia the photos from our high school band days. Yes, we were that cliché. The whole time I noticed Nadia was different. Her laugh was higher pitched. She kept fixing her hair, and she was asking Nico a lot of questions. At first I thought she was just being friendly, making an effort, you know. I've told her about Nico a lot, that he's basically my brother, so I figured meeting him probably felt like meeting part of my family. But driving home, she was quieter than usual. Then out of nowhere, "Your friend is really impressive." "Yeah, Nico's great," I said. "No, I mean, he's really put together, successful, confident." I should have caught it then, but I just laughed it off. That's Nico for you. Over the next week, things got weird. Nadia started asking about him constantly. Where did he go to university? What exactly does he do at work? Does he have a girlfriend? Where does he work out? "Babe, why the sudden interest?" I finally asked. She shrugged. "Just curious about your friends." But it didn't stop. She'd bring him up at random times. We'd be watching a movie and she'd say, "I bet Nico would appreciate this film more." Or we'd be at dinner and she'd mention, "Nico probably knows good wine. He seems cultured." The comparison started getting more direct. "Nico dresses better than you. Nico has better posture. Nico seems like he'd be more emotionally mature." I'm not gonna lie, it stung. I knew Nico well enough to know he'd never go there. He's the kind of guy who still asks permission before posting photos with you in them. Boundaries are sacred to him. But Nadia's comments were really starting to get under my skin. Last Thursday, Nadia and I were having dinner at my place. She made another comment about how Nico carries himself with more presence than I do, and something in me just snapped, not with anger but with clarity. I put down my fork and looked at her. "Nadia, be honest with me. Do you have feelings for Nico?" She froze. "What? No, I'm just..." "Because if you're that impressed by him," I continued, keeping my voice steady, "maybe you should pursue him instead. I'm not going to keep you in a relationship where you're clearly not satisfied." I watched her face cycle through emotions, surprise, guilt, then something that looked almost like relief. "I mean," she started, then stopped. "Would you be okay with that?" My stomach dropped, but I kept my composure. "I'm not okay with it, but I'm not going to force someone to stay with me when they clearly want to be somewhere else." She sat there for a moment, then nodded slowly. "You're right, I think. I think we want different things. Nico is more the type of person I see myself with long term." The audacity was almost impressive. She hadn't even talked to Nico about this. She just assumed he'd be interested because. Why? Because she believed she was entitled to someone better. "All right then," I said, standing up. "I hope it works out for you." She looked almost surprised that I wasn't fighting for her. She grabbed her stuff and left within 20 minutes. After she was gone, I texted Nico, "Heads up. Nadia and I broke up. If she reaches out to you, ignore it. Don't let her drag you into drama." He replied almost immediately, "Bro, you know me." That was 5 days ago. I'm doing okay, honestly. Better than I thought I would be. I told a couple of friends what happened and they're split. Half think I should have fought harder to keep her. The other half think I dodged a bullet. But here's the thing, Nadia showed me exactly who she was. She looked at my best friend like an upgrade option at a car dealership. What was I supposed to fight for? Someone who sees relationships as stepping stones. I don't know, maybe I'm rationalizing. Maybe I should have confronted her differently. Reddit, did I handle this like a doormat or did I just save myself a lot of wasted time? Edit, holy crap, didn't expect this to blow up. Reading all your comments now. And yes, I'm fully aware Nico's not going to touch this situation with a 10-foot pole. That's not even a concern. Update 1 posted 6 days later. Well, that escalated. Thanks for all the support on my last post. Turns out I was right about Nadia and also right about Nico, but it's gotten messier than I expected. So after that initial text where I warned Nico, I figured that was the end of it. Nadia would move on, I'd move on, life continues. Wrong. Nico called me the next day. Dude, she already texted me. Are you serious? Yeah, she's really doing this. Said she wanted to talk about you but also get to know me better. I left her on read. I should mention that Nico's not just loyal, he's also extremely direct when he needs to be. He doesn't play games. If he's not interested, he makes it clear. So I wasn't worried about him leading her on. But Nadia apparently took his non-response as some kind of challenge. Over the next few days, Nico kept me updated. She'd liked about 15 of his Instagram posts in a row, watched all his stories within seconds of him posting them, sent him a photo of herself in work attire asking if it looked professional. Each time, Nico either ignored or responded with the driest possible answer. Does this look professional? She'd ask, sending a photo where she's clearly posing. It's fine, he'd reply. Then immediately text me the screenshot with, this is exhausting. By day 3, she'd somehow figured out his usual coffee spot and coincidentally showed up there. He saw her through the window, turned around, and went to a different cafe. She's treating you like a prize she's earned, I told him on the phone. More like a trophy she thinks she deserves, he corrected. It's weird, man. She's not even trying to get to know me as a person. She's just trying to get me as an accessory. Meanwhile, some of our mutual friends started reaching out to me. Apparently, Nadia had been telling people that she and I broke up because we wanted different things, and that she was exploring new connections. Not exactly lying, but definitely spinning it to make herself look less bad. A couple of people bought it. But my friend Derek, who'd hung out with us a few times, straight up told her, you checked out the moment you thought you'd found someone better. And the fact that it's his best friend, that's not exploring connections, that's disrespectful as hell. She apparently got defensive and said something about how you can't help who you're attracted to and Nico is more aligned with her life goals. Derek texted me, she's delusional, bro. Just thought you should know. The breaking point came last Saturday. Nico was at his gym and Nadia showed up at his gym. She'd apparently asked one of his Instagram followers where he worked out, someone who didn't know the situation, and innocently answered. She approached him between sets. Hey, didn't know you came here, she said, all smiles. I was on FaceTime with him in his car afterward. He told me everything that happened. She acted like we were old friends, asked if I wanted to grab a smoothie after. I told her I was busy. What'd she say? She said, you're always busy when I ask, like we had some kind of established relationship. I told her straight up, Nadia, I'm not interested, please stop. He said she looked shocked, like she genuinely couldn't believe he'd reject her. But why? She'd asked him. Because you just broke up with my best friend to chase me, and that's concerning. She'd apparently turned red and left without another word. I guess I should have felt bad, but honestly, I couldn't help laughing out loud when I heard that. Nico acted completely nonchalant about it too, peak comedy. He just waited for me to finish laughing before saying, she should back off now. Later that night, I got a message from Nadia. First time she'd contacted me since the breakup. Did you tell Nico not to talk to me? I stared at the message for a solid minute before replying. I told him we broke up and to ignore drama. He's a grown man who makes his own choices. He's being really cold to me. You must have said something. Or maybe he's just not interested. You're sabotaging this because you're jealous. I actually laughed out loud. Nadia, he's not interested because you dumped his best friend to chase him. That's not jealousy. That's self-respect on his part, and loyalty too. Oh, I guess you wouldn't know what that means though. She didn't respond after that. I told Nico about the exchange. He just sighed. She really thought I'd betray you for what? Someone I barely know who's already proven she's disloyal. Appreciate you, man. That's what brothers are for. So now we're here. Nadia's been noticeably quiet on social media. I'm doing fine, honestly better than fine. Nico has been dragging me to the gym more, and it's actually more enjoyable than I thought. A few people have asked if I'm angry at Nadia. Honestly, I'm not. I'm just indifferent. She revealed who she was, and I accepted it. Getting angry would mean I still care about her opinion of me, and I really don't. My only concern now is whether she's going to keep bothering Nico. He says he'll handle it, but the dude's too nice sometimes. I'm hoping she got the message and backs off. Edit. For those saying I should block her, already done. Nico has her muted but not blocked in case she sends something that crosses into harassment territory and we need records. Update 2, posted 9 days later. Alright Reddit, I promised I'd update if anything else happened. Well, something did happen. So after my last update, things were quiet for about a week. Nico said Nadia had stopped spamming him with likes and texts and hadn't shown up anywhere. I figured she'd finally gotten the hint and moved on. Maybe felt embarrassed enough to just drop it. Last Wednesday changed that. Nico and I decided to grab lunch at this cafe downtown, nothing fancy, just a place we used to hit up before he moved to Toronto. We were sitting there, talking about work and planning a camping trip when Nadia walked in. At first, I thought it was a genuine coincidence. Our city isn't that big and it's a popular spot. But then I saw her face when she spotted us. She didn't look surprised, she looked determined. She walked straight to our table. "Hey," she said, looking directly at Nico, didn't even glance at me. Nico's expression didn't change. "Nadia, can we talk privately?" I started to stand up, figured I'd give them space to end this once and for all. But Nico put his hand up. "Whatever you need to say, you can say it here." She glanced at me uncomfortably, then back at Nico. I feel like there's been a misunderstanding between us. I think we'd be really good together if you just give me a chance." The audacity. I was sitting right there and she was asking my best friend to date her like I wasn't even present. Nico leaned back in his chair. His voice was calm but cold. "Nadia, there's no misunderstanding. I've been clear, I'm not interested." "But why?" she pressed. "We have so much in common." "We're both ambitious, we don't have anything in common," Nico interrupted. "You don't even know me. You've created some fantasy version of me in your head based on what? The fact that I have a decent job and go to the gym," she blinked. "That's not. You broke up with one of the best people I know to chase someone you've met like twice," he continued. "That's not attraction. That's not connection. That's you treating people like transactions." Her face started turning red. A couple of people at nearby tables were definitely listening now. "You think you're so perfect," she snapped, dropping the sweet tone. "You're just like him, mediocre and careful," Nico said quietly. The shift in his tone made her stop mid-sentence. "I've been polite, I've been patient, but I'm going to be very clear now so there's no confusion." He leaned forward slightly. "What you're doing isn't flattering, it's embarrassing for you. You dumped a good man because you thought you could upgrade to his friend. You saw me as a status symbol, not a person. And when I didn't immediately fall at your feet, you started stalking me. I wasn't. You showed up at my gym. You found out where I get coffee. You've liked every social media post I've made for the past 2 weeks. That's not interest, that's obsession." The cafe had gotten noticeably quieter. Nadia was staring at him, her mouth slightly open. "Here's the thing you don't seem to understand," Nico said. "Loyalty matters to me, integrity matters to me, and you've demonstrated neither. So no, I'm not interested. I won't be interested tomorrow. I won't be interested next month. I won't be interested ever." He picked up his coffee cup. "I think you should leave now." Nadia stood there for another few seconds, her face completely flushed. Then she walked out without another word. The cafe stayed quiet for a moment, then conversation slowly resumed. I just stared at Nico. "Dude," he shrugged. "She needed to hear it, should have said it earlier." We finished our lunch and honestly it felt like a weight had been lifted. Nico had drawn a line so clear that even Nadia couldn't misinterpret it. Later that evening I got a text from a mutual friend, Jessica. "Holy shit, what happened at Morrison Cafe? Nadia just called me crying saying Nico humiliated her in public." I sent her the full story. Jessica replied, "Good. She's been telling people you two broke up mutually and that Nico was interested but timing wasn't right. She needed a reality check." Turns out Nadia had been spinning the narrative to make herself look better, telling people that Nico was interested but taking things slow out of respect for me, that we'd all probably be friends eventually. Complete fabrication. Jessica said she'd set the record straight with our friend group. I told her not to be cruel about it, but yeah, the truth needed to come out. Nico and I talked about it later that night over beers. Think she'll finally back off? I asked. She doesn't have a choice now, he said. I made it public enough that if she keeps trying, everyone will know she's harassing me. You didn't have to do that, man. Yeah, I did. She was disrespecting you and she was making me uncomfortable. Two birds, one very direct conversation. I clinked my beer against his. Best friend of the freaking year, he laughed. You do the same. Yeah, I really would. Since then, radio silence from Nadia. Her Instagram went private. She hasn't reached out to me or Nico. A couple of people from our extended friend group have quietly unfollowed her. I don't take pleasure in her embarrassment, but I do feel validated. She gambled that she could trade up and it backfired spectacularly. That's something she has to own up eventually. Final update posted 3 weeks later. Didn't think I'd be back, but here we are. Final update, and it's actually a good one. So after the cafe incident, Nadia went completely silent, blocked both me and Nico on everything. Our mutual friends said she'd been laying low, barely posting on social media, and declining invitations to group hangouts where she might run into us. I figured that was the end of it. She'd learned her lesson, moved on, and we'd all just peacefully exist in different circles. For about 2 weeks that seemed to be the case. Then last Friday I was out with some friends at a bar downtown. Different place than where Nadia and I used to go, but apparently not different enough. She was there with a guy I didn't recognize. They were at a table across the room, and at first I didn't even notice her. My friend nudged me. Isn't that Nadia? I glanced over. It was definitely her, but she looked different, not physically, but her whole energy was subdued. The guy she was with seemed nice enough, average-looking, casual clothes, nothing flashy. They were talking quietly, and she wasn't doing any of that performative laughing she used to do. Good for her, I said, meaning it. If she'd found someone and was moving on, that was fine by me. But then about 20 minutes later, she got up to go to the bathroom and had to walk past our table. We made eye contact. She stopped. Liam. Nadia, hey, awkward silence. My friends had gone quiet, clearly waiting to see what would happen. Can I talk to you for a second? I looked at my friends, then back at her. Sure. We stepped outside to the patio area where it was quieter. She took a breath. I owe you an apology. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. I was. God, I don't even know how to explain how stupid I was. I got caught up in this fantasy version of what I thought I wanted. I saw Nico and just convinced myself that he was this perfect upgrade, that I deserved something more exciting. She looked down at her hands. The whole thing with Nico wasn't even really about him. It was about me being shallow and insecure and thinking that dating someone more impressive looking would somehow make me more impressive. I didn't say anything, just let her talk. When he rejected me at that cafe, I felt humiliated. I was angry, furious actually. But then Jessica and the others too, they stopped beating around the bush and just threw reality straight in my face. What Nico said that day, he was right. About all of it. I did treat you like you weren't good enough. I treated him like a prize to win. I treated relationships like a status game. She wiped at her eyes. I'm not asking you to forgive me or be friends or anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. You deserved so much better than how I treated you. I stood there for a moment, processing. Part of me had imagined this conversation going differently, me being cold, her being defensive. But she just seemed tired and genuinely remorseful. I appreciate you saying that, I finally said. It sucked at the time, but honestly I'm glad it happened when it did rather than years down the line, she nodded. For what it's worth, that guy in there, his name is Matt. We met through work. He's not flashy or particularly ambitious or any of the things I thought I needed, but he's kind. And he doesn't make me feel like I have to be someone I'm not. That's good, Nadia, I mean that. She smiled a little. You're still too nice. Nah, I'm just not angry anymore. We talked for a few more minutes, nothing deep, just small talk about work and how we'd been doing. It was civil, almost friendly. Before she went back inside, she paused. Is Nico here? No, he's visiting his parents this weekend. Good. I don't think I could face him yet, she laughed dryly. Maybe not ever. He's not holding a grudge, I said. He was just protecting his boundaries. He was right to tell tell him I'm sorry for putting him in that position. I will. She went back inside and I rejoined my friends. They immediately peppered me with questions. She apologized, I said simply. We're good. Well, not good, but peaceful. One of my friend actually raised his beer. Character growth, love to see it. I texted Nico later that night telling him about the conversation. He replied, glad she figured it out, takes guts to apologize like that. The next day Nico and I met up for our usual Sunday breakfast. He'd just gotten back from his parents' place and was in a good mood. So real talk, he said over pancakes. You doing okay? Like actually okay? Yeah, man. Better than okay. Good, because I was talking to my cousin last week. You remember Melissa? She's got a friend who just moved here for a teaching job. Her name is Rebecca. Melissa thought you two might hit it off. I raised an eyebrow. Are you trying to set me up? I'm creating opportunities. What you do with them is up to you. I laughed. All right, why not? We spent the rest of breakfast talking about his trip, work stuff, and planning that camping trip we'd been putting off. Everything felt normal. No drama, no tension, just two friends hanging out. As for Nadia, I saw her one more time after that, crossing the street downtown. We waved. She smiled. That was it. I don't hate her. I don't pine for her. I don't even think about her much anymore. She's just someone I used to date who taught me what I don't want in a relationship. I'm sleeping better, eating better, actually enjoying life instead of just going through the motions. Nico's still Nico, loyal, supportive, occasionally too honest for his own good. I'm good. Actually, I'm better than good. And I didn't need revenge or drama to get here. I just needed to let go and move forward. Thanks for following this weird journey, Reddit. You guys helped me see I wasn't crazy for handling things the way I did. Stay solid, everyone. Edit. To everyone asking about Rebecca, yes, we met. Hate to admit Nico was right. He gets so smug and it's annoying as hell, but we actually clicked. We're taking things slow, but it's going well. She thinks the whole story is wild, but appreciates that I didn't turn into a bitter asshole over it. Edit 2. Nico says hi. He's reading over my shoulder and laughing at all the comments calling him a legend. His ego doesn't need this, guys. But seriously, thank you all for the support throughout this. This community came through when I needed perspective.